Well, good evening. I'm your host, Robert Wilson with Cowboy Wisdom Podcast. Tonight's presentation is 7 ways why life is a struggle is a self-taught lie. Why life is a struggle is a self-taught lie because we mistake repetition for normality. Say it enough times and the mind will wear it like a uniform. Life is hard is never a fact. It's a phrase we've absorbed from culture, family, media, and inherited from the beginning of time, our ancestors, until it feels like gravity. The brain learns through repetition, never through veracity. So the more we rehearse, struggle, and phrase struggle, the more it feels like our identity. As identity built on effort is a costume, never a core. Liberation begins when we question the script, never to just survive, but to thrive. Struggle is a learned lens, never a law. We never see life as it is. We see it as we've been taught to interpret it. How do you interpret your life through your parents, unknowingly? And how do you interpret it through education and this? The belief in struggle filters through every experience with tension, even when ease is available. The difference between struggle, hard, and ease all in the mind and in the body. But we taught ourselves life is a struggle, so therefore life has to be a struggle, which is a lie we tell ourselves. This lens turns neutral moments into battles and challenges into proof of hardship. Have you ever done that? Pick me, I have. But the lenses can be swapped when we unlearn the struggle story and we begin to see life as a dance, never as a duel. We've been trained to trust effort over alignment. If it's never hard, we assume it's never valuable. That's the lie that never dies. From school to self-help, we're taught that worth is earned through grind, never grace. This creates a loop. We chase struggle to feel worthy, then mistrust ease when it arrives. That is a big one for me that I'm expanding through right now, is to understand ease arrives, but it's almost like if it's easy, it isn't worth it. That's a lie. That's a lie I tell myself. It isn't that the other is hard, but you got to go through the expansion, never the torment. Alignment is never laziness. It's wisdom and energetic liberation. And the most powerful lives are often the least effortful. You know, if you take the word power out of your life and use the word prowess, it's more about intuition, imagination, innovation, and moving forward. As the grind is a script, never the veracity. We've been sold a story that struggle is noble, that grinding is growth, and that ease is earned through exhaustion. Yet this myth is never wisdom, it's social obedience, training. The grind glorifies the burnout, distracts from clarity, and keeps us chasing worth through suffering. It's time to unlearn the struggle lie and claim a life built on flow, never friction. Why people are apprehensive about letting go and dissolving struggle and pessimism. Struggle's a comfort zone to your subconscious mind, and letting go feels unsafe. The nervous system clings to what it knows, never, even if it hurts. That's what heartbreak is your nervous system clinging on to what's out there and for your comfort zone. Many people, including me, have rehearsed struggle and pessimism for so long it becomes my emotional or your emotional home base. Letting go feels like stepping into the unknown where identity, control, and predictability are dissolved. The fear is never freedom. It's of losing the story that made you feel safe and secure. Have you done that? I have. That's what a lie is. Pessimism protects the ego from disappointment. Pessimism protects the ego from disappointment. If you expect the worst, you'll never be let down. That's the illusion. Pessimism becomes a preemptive shield, a way to avoid vulnerability, risk, or hope. It masquerades as realism, yet is often just fear in disguise. Releasing it requires trust of your own ability and of the unknown, but it's really just unrehearsed life. As all the unknown is unrehearsed, uneducated, unedited experience for you. Never in outcomes, but in your capacity to meet them. Struggle is socially rewarded. Liberation never is. We glorify the grind, the mistrust, the glow. Society validates those who suffer visibly. You work so hard, you're so strong, but as ease and joy and clarity are often dismissed as naive, lazy, or privileged. Letting go of struggle means risking social disapproval and stepping into the kind of freedom that never needs applause. While rising out of life is a struggle, rising to embodying life is an awakening. As you instantly rise out of life is struggle, and to embody life is an awakening, a expansion, and a rise from mental captivity to sovereign clarity. Struggle is a script. Embodiment is a signal of your sovereign liberation. You were never born to perform life. You were born to feel it, listen to it, and experience it. And something that's coming up tomorrow is you feel to listen. You listen and you feel what you're hearkening to expand through life. The struggle story is rehearsed through culture, education, and ego conditioning. Embodiment bypasses the script and tunes into direct experience where veracity is never taught, it's sensed. Awakening begins when you stop narrating life and start experiencing it and inhabiting it. Struggle is time bound, embodiment is timeless. The mind grind lives in the future. Present experiences are here and now with a wow of wanderer's optimism. Struggle keeps you chasing, becoming, and fixing, improving, and comparing yourself and categorizing your life in something that never was. Embodiment anchors you in the now, where nothing is missing and everything is alive and thriving. Awakening is never a destination. It's the unfiltered intimacy of being free and here at the same time. Struggle is ego armor. Embodiment is a soul exposure. The ego fights to be seen. The soul invites you to dissolve, to evolve. Struggle inflates identity through effort and resistance. Embodiment invites vulnerability and coherence and energetic veracity. Awakening is more about winning. It's more than about winning. It's about witnessing and observing your daily scampers through feeling to listen and hearken the wisdom of the day. Struggle blocks sensory wisdom. You never hear your inner compass over the noise of external effort. Chronic struggle numbs intuition and distorts perception. Embodiment reactivates your native intuitive acumen. Your body becomes a tuning fork for clarity. Awakening is the return of felt veracity over forced logic. Struggle is a mind bind. Embodiment is a now wilding. You never awaken by escaping life. You awaken by listening, experiencing, questioning it fully. The mind bind keeps you looping in inherited beliefs and mental autopilot. Embodiment breaks the loop. Your awareness now claims its wild, sovereign terrain of your gamer's fame. Awakening is never an idea, it's a frequency. Rising from effort to essence. Why life is a struggle is a self-taught mental torment. You rehearse the lie until it feels like logic. The mind never needs truth. It needs repetition. Life is hard is never a fact. It's a phrase absorbed through culture, family, media until it calcifies into identity. The brain learns through loops, never liberation. So the more you repeat struggle, the more it feels like reality. This is never clarity, it's social obedient conditioning. You always are not living life, you're living a script. That's the thing. We have scripts in our subconscious that run our life. But we think it's the outside world, but the outside world activates your chips of your memory, and then when it's something occurs out here, you react to it this way. Struggle becomes a mental reflex, never a conscious choice. Struggle is a mental reflex. You never choose struggle, you default to it. That's the thing. We always default to what makes our subconscious feel comfortable, good, bad, or indifferent. The belief embeds itself as a reflex. You expect friction, mistrust ease, and interpret peace as laziness. You know, the world is afraid of relaxation, of just sitting down for a day and doing nothing, because they always got to talk about what's going on. This reflex hijacks your decisions, reaction, and emotional tone. Torment disguised as normal. Liberation begins when you stop reacting from the script and begin responding from awareness, acumen, and your inner soul savvy. Mental torment is the ego's favorite performance. If it hurts, it must matter. That's the ego's logic. The ego craves significance through suffering. It wants to be seen as resilient, heroic, and superior. So it turns struggle into badge of honor and torment into proof of death. As the authentic death never needs drama, it requires presence. And the presence never performs. It always is listening and interwinding. The myth of the grind is why life is a struggle's a lie. We've been taught quietly, relentlessly, that life is supposed to be hard. The struggle equals virtue, and the ease equals laziness. From the schoolyard slogans to the self-help sermons, that grind is glorified as a path to growth. But what if this belief was never wisdom? It's programming. And that's what it is, it's programming. That's why the people use the word programming. They want you to follow what they're doing. What if life is a struggle was never authentic? We discovered by a fallacy we rehearsed into reality. How is struggle fallacy rehearsed into reality? This inherited mindset trains us to expect resistance, normalize burnout, and mistrust joy. It's not that life never presents challenges. It's what we've been conditioned to interpret. Every challenge is a proof of hardship rather than invitations of liberation to evolve of our enterprising visionary omnificence. Loving, lionizing, liberating visionary epiphanies. The struggle story is a self-taught lens, never a law. Once we question it, we begin to see the clarity, the flow of the liberation were never the enemy. They were just waiting for us to arrive and thrive in that situation. Why self-taught struggle is unknowingly inherited from parents, ancestors, education, and social obedience. It unveils why self-taught struggle is unknowingly inherited from parents, ancestors, education, and social obedience, a legacy of invisible programming disguised as personal truth. Struggle is a hand-me-down mindset, never a chosen belief. You never invent the grind, you inherited the gospel of the grind from the outside world. Parents often pass down survival-based narratives. Work hard or you'll fall behind. Life is never fair. You have to earn everything. Life is never fair as a lie. Life is as fair as you're willing to innovate within yourself. Ancestors lived through scarcity, war, and oppression. So struggle became sacred even when it was no longer relevant. These beliefs seep in early, shaping our inner dialogue before you even choose your own. Education rewards effort over essence. You're taught to perform, never to perceive. Schools normalize struggle as virtue. Grades, deadlines, competition, and obedience are framed as character building. Ease is suspicious. Intuition is ignored. The system trains you to equate tension with success. By adulthood, struggle feels familiar, never because it's true, because it's been rehearsed. Social obedience turns struggle into the badge of belonging. How is that social obedience turns people into turns struggle into badge of belonging to society? Have you ever witnessed that in your life? I've witnessed that in my life. If you're never grinding, you're not trying. That's the myth. Culture glorifies hustle, sacrifice, and burnout as signs of worthiness. You learn to wear struggle like a uniform, proof that you're doing life right. As this is a manipulation, never wisdom. True clarity never needs effort. It requires unlearning the tension, everything you learn from society. Why self-help, self-improvement, personal growth is mental autopilot. Life is a struggle is a self-taught fallacy. Self-help often reinforces the problem it claims to solve. When growth becomes grind, we mistake exhaustion for evolution. Much of self-improvement culture is built on the premise that you're broken and need fixing. This creates a loop. The more you improve, the more flaws you find, fueling perpetual dissatisfaction. Authentic growth is never about relentless upgrading. It's about shedding inherited scripts and claiming your original clarity. Mental autopilot's a program, never a personality. Struggle feels personal, yet it's often just a default operating system running in unchecked. Basically, it's malware in your thinking. The belief that life must be hard is often installed early through culture, family, and media. Mine was, and rarely questioned. Self-help can become a sophisticated way to decorate the cage rather than escape from it. Liberation begins when you stop optimizing the autopilot and start writing the flight plan of I am grand. Personal growth is never a war, it's now wilding. Now wilding's a noun, a radical state of enterprising presence, where the mind unbinds, the ego dissolves, and awareness claims your native terrain. You rise out of the need to conquer yourself. You rise to embody your shrewd presence. The battle metaphor of growth is slay your ego, crush your goals, defeat your inner critic, keeps you in conflict with your own nature. Real unfoldment is less about discipline and more about discernment, less about force, more about freedom and sovereignty. When you unlearn the struggle story, expansion becomes a return to coherence, never a climb to worthiness. Why struggle is an egotistical lie stifling now. Struggle is an egotistical lie stifling the now, a self-important illusion that hijacks presence and replaces clarity with performance. Struggle is the ego's spotlight. It needs drama to feel real. The ego thrives on tension because peace makes it invisible. Struggle gives the ego a starring role. The hero overcoming adversity is a martyr earning worth. As this performance hijacks the present moment, turning life into a stage for self-importance. The now never needs a storyline, it needs spaciousness. Ego resists that because it can't dominate what's already whole. Ego resists everything that's whole because it can never dominate that's already whole. Struggle distracts from direct experience. If you're always fixing, grinding, or proving, you're never simply being. The ego fears stillness. It prefers effort because effort feels like control. Struggle becomes a clever way to avoid presence. It keeps you busy, reactive, and future focused. As presence is where clarity lives, and struggle is where static that drowns it out lives. Struggle is a false proof of depth. We mistake complexity for wisdom and suffering for soul. The ego equates hardship with meaning, believing that if it's painful, it must be profound. This is a belief that stifles the now by layering it with unnecessary weight, analysis, and self-judgment. Authentic depth is never loud, it's lucid, and it never needs struggle to validate its existence. Why people think, know, and live struggle. Struggle is a socially scripted as a virtue. We're taught that pain equals depth and effort equals worth. From childhood, struggle is framed as noble. No pain, no gain. Work hard to deserve it. This conditioning turns struggle into moral badge. Proof that you're trying and growing or earning. People just don't believe in struggle. They perform it to feel valid. Struggle feels familiar, so it feels true. The nervous system memorizes tension and calls it reality. Repeated stress rewires a body to expect friction, mistrust ease, and normalize overwhelm. Over time, struggle becomes a baseline. Anything outside it feels suspicious or unsafe. People live struggle never because it's real, it's because it's rehearsed into comfort. Struggle is a mind bind masking as intelligence. We confuse complexity with intelligence and suffering with soul. The ego loves struggle. It makes life feel important, dramatic, and self-centered. So people cling to it as a sign of depth, mistaken torment for truth. As clarity is never complicated, it's clean, and struggle is often just noise dressed as insight. Why life is a struggle is a self-taught mental torment. You rehearse the lie until it feels like logic. The mind never needs truth. It needs repetition. Life is hard isn't a fact. It's a phrase absorbed through culture, family, media, ancestors, and everyday life until it calcifies into identity. The brain learns through loops, never liberation. The more you repeat struggle, the more it feels like reality. As this is never clarity, it's conditioning. You're never living life, you're living a script. How do we live a script? Struggle becomes a mental reflex, never a conscious choice. You never choose struggle, you default to it. The belief embeds itself as a reflex. You expect friction, mistrust, ease, and interpret peace as laziness. This reflex hijacks your decisions, reactions, and emotional tone. Torment disguised as normal. Liberation begins when you stop repeating from the script and start responding from awareness. Mental torment is the ego's favorite performance. If it hurts, it must matter. That's the ego's logic. The ego craves significance through suffering. It wants to be seen as resilient, heroic, and superior. So it turns struggle into the badge of honor and torment into the proof of death. True as authentic death never needs drama, it needs presence. And presence never performs. Why all levels of education teach struggle and mind bind. Curriculums are built to prioritize compliance over clarity. The system never teaches you how to think, it teaches you how to obey while thinking you're learning. From kindergarten to grad school, education rewards memorization, repetition, and rule following. Struggle is framed as noble. If it's hard, it must be valuable. This normalizes mental autopilot as a sign of progress. This nullifies wisdom. It's domesticated way to life. The mind is trained to bind itself into external validation and internalized pressure. Struggle becomes a hidden curriculum. You're never just learning math or history. You're learning to equate effort with worth. Students are conditioned to believe that only through stress, sacrifice, and competition can they succeed. This embeds a subconscious belief: if I'm not never struggling, I must be doing it wrong. The result is lifelong addiction to effort, even when ease would be more effective. Education trains the mind to fear its own freedom. Original thought is dangerous to systems that depend on predictability. Authentic liberation, curiosity, intuition, and energetic sovereignty is rarely nurtured into traditional classrooms. Students are taught to defer to authority, suppress inner understanding, and seek permission to explore. The mind becomes a cage of inherited beliefs, viewpoints, and opinions with struggle as its lock and key. While rising out of life is a struggle. Rising to embodying life is an awakening. Struggle is a mental captive script. Embodiment is a soul signal of energetic liberation. Embodiment is a state of radical presence where awareness fully flows through the body, dissolving mental scripts to instantly energize sovereign clarity. As you rise out of mindset, thinking you were born to perform life, to realize and esteeming you were born to embody life, listening to feel enterprising prowess that wows your colorful curiosity, to rise, shine, and energize your movie maker imagination, expands you through life with ease. The struggle story is rehearsed through culture, education, and ego conditioning. Embodiment bypasses the scripts and tunes you into the experience where veracity is never taught. It's sensed, listened to, and hearkened. Awakening begins when you stop narrating life and start inhabiting it. Struggle is a time bomb. Embodiment is timeless. The grind lives in the future. The present lives in the here and now. Struggle keeps you chasing, becoming, fixing, improving. Embodiment anchors you in the now, where nothing is missing and everything is alive. Awakening is never a destination. It's an unfiltered intimacy of your here and now. Struggle is the ego armor. Embodiment is the soul exposure. The ego fights to be seen. The soul invites you to dissolve. Struggle inflates identity through effort and resistance. Embodiment invites vulnerability, coherence, and energetic veracity. Awakening is never about winning. It's about witnessing and observing your life. Struggle blocks sensory wisdom. You can never hear your inner compass over the noise of effort. Chronic struggle numbs intuition, distorts perception. Embodiment reactivates your native wisdom. Your body becomes a tuning fork for clarity. Awakening is the return of felt veracity over forced logic. Struggle is a mind bind. Embodiment is a now wilding way of life. You never awaken by escaping life. You awaken by entering it into life fully, listening, questioning, and enjoying life. Mind binds keep you looping in inherited beliefs, mental autopilot. Embodiment breaks the loop. Your awareness reclaims the wild, sovereign terrain of your fame. Awakening is never an idea, it's a frequency of easy. Rising from effort to essence. Why energetic liberation, energized listening, maverick questions, sovereign activation, autonomous expansion, politically incorrect inspiration, spirit prowess, cowboy wisdom, liberating lingo, eloquently expressing revolutionary revelation, dissolve struggle with love. They override the struggle strip with sovereign signals of transcending temerity. Struggle thrives on noise. These tools tune you to truth. Energetic liberation, energized listening. Bypass mental autopilot and tune in to the felt clarity of your celebratory exposés. Maverick questions slice through inherited beliefs, opinions, and viewpoints, exposing the illusion of effort based on identity. Sovereign activation is never a rebellion, it's remembrance and the unfoldment of your dreams. You stop reacting and start radiating wisdom, insight, and clarity. Rise, shine, and energize. They replace obedience with authorship and authentic way of life. Struggle demands conformity. These codes spark creation. Politically incorrect inspiration and cowboy wisdom defy the polite prison of social obedience. Autonomous expansion is never selfish, it's sacred. You claim your energetic terrain, liberating lingo, revolutionary revolution. Now wire your liberating lingo, your lens of your life. They transmute struggle into love and fuel clarity. You never fight the struggle, you dissolve it with presence. Spirit prowess is never domination, it's discernment. You feel what's real and release what's rehearsed. How do we rehearse torment? That's basically because that's what it is rehearsed from yesterday. These forces don't attack struggle, they outshine it. Love becomes the solvent, never the sword. When you live from the frequency of easy, struggle will never survive. It's not resisted, it's irrelevant. As you awaken to your dreamer's dexterity that flows you through life with ease. I want to thank you. I am Robert A. Wilson, and may your life be as blessed as you are a blessing to me and the world.